swiped too far and showed us all a selfie of his asshole. What's the most embarrassing / cringy thing you've accidentally shown someone or something they accidentally saw while using your phone or computer? Was talking to some cute girl, it was going well, and gave her my phone to add me on Facebook. Her profile was the first profile on the recent Facebook searches. I was out of curiosity checking out my friend's girlfriend on Facebook. Like not stalking her or sexualizing her. I met her once, she seemed nice, wanted to see what she was all about. My friend knocked on my door and I answered and he came into my room and I just wasn't thinking about what I was doing because it was harmless. Then he saw my screen and was like, "Why the fuck are you checking out my girlfriend?" I was kind of on the flip side of this when my uncle was going through pictures of my baby cousin on his phone and swiped too far to show me a picture of my auntie standing completely naked in a doorway. The image is still burned into my mind. Father-in-law was looking at photos on my phone with me. I got a text from my wife that said, "I've been a naughty bitch, you need to come home and slap my ass." I turned to him and said, "What kind of daughter did you raise?" I learned that day. 1. Turn off preview. 2. Do not joke about a man's daughter. Way back when I was playing a bunch of World of Warcraft. This was back when people were making funny machinima YouTube videos constantly, and I had them downloaded to my computer so I could show my friends. Then one day, I set up a very early version of Plex, video streaming software, on my computer, and I hook up my TV for a small party. Little did I know, Plex scans your media library and then runs out to the internet to find a cover image that Plex thinks matches your movies so that you have a thumbnail to click when you want to watch that video. For some of my WoW YouTube videos, it found pictures of orcs and elves fucking and threw that up on the screen. The girl I liked at the party, what the fuck is that? Me, borderline speechless, I have no fucking idea. Had the minister of my church at my house. He wanted to upload music from his laptop onto my Zune, tells you when this was. He turns it on and the Zune immediately displays a topless picture of my fiancée, a girl he's known since birth, having been best friends with her parents. He just clears his throat and says, "I didn't see that." The rest of my time with him that day was incredibly awkward, but he never brought it back up again. Edit, to clear up any confusion, the picture was on my Zune that I had taken. The pastor knew nothing about it prior to seeing it. When I was 15, my mom was snooping through my phone and found a text that said, "I wish I could have a girl with boobs so big I could suffocate in them." That was a cool fun time for me. Handed my mom my phone to show her a picture of something or other. Didn't think. Next thing I know, she starts swiping. "Mom, you need to stop. Right now. Swipe, why? I never get to see your pictures, swipe, swipe. Stop, attempt to grab phone." Look of horror on mom's face. Because I have pictures of my dick on there. I handed my phone across the table to my grandma at a family gathering once and she started flipping through my pictures. I warned her to stop a few times but wasn't too insistent because I knew if she stuck with left/right swiping it'd be quite a while before she saw anything dirty. Other family members started chiming in too. She gave it back after a bit without seeing anything, fortunately. People don't think about other people's privacy. No, grandma, this isn't like a roll of film where someone shows you one picture you can look through the rest. This is a years-long collection of cool pictures, funny stuff I've saved, cats being cats, pretty landscapes, me and my girlfriend fucking, me taking nudes of my girlfriend, pictures of me or my girlfriend's nethers to examine a medical issue. Pictures of the rafters because I can't quite see from the floor, things related to a project I'm working on, reminders to myself, all sorts of things. A friend was showing us his holiday pictures and accidentally swiped too far and showed us all a selfie of his asshole, then one of his balls when he tried to fix it. I went skydiving with a group of buddies. The first guy out of the aircraft got a badass slow-mo video of us all coming out of the plane after him on his GoPro. Naturally, we all wanted a copy of the video. He left us his GoPro to plug into our laptops as he went to grab his stuff out of his car. If you've never used a GoPro before, you know when you plug it into your computer every file pops up with little thumbnails. The first guy to copy the video can't help but notice what looks like a naked girl in one of the videos. He stupidly clicks on it. It turned out to be our buddy with his current GF and he was giving her the most violent porn-worthy throat fucking you ever saw, and to top it off after about 5 seconds he stops. yanks her head back and hawks up a big loogie and spits it in her mouth. We all fucking lost it, we couldn't stop laughing and he turned it off just in time before he came back inside. He ended up marrying her and we could never look at either of them the same ever again, lol. In my younger years working in desktop support, we had a guy complaining that his computer was running slow. It was literally full of horse porn. This was back in the 90 MHz Pentium days and long before people had anything better than a 57.7, correction 56K, baud modem in their house. I had to show my boss and point out that obviously, this guy was using company bandwidth. We had a fractured T1 at the time that we paid out the nose for, to download non-work related material onto his company laptop clearly in the office. This was also the same dude who got caught putting breast milk in his coffee, so there may have been a few issues there. My partner showed his friends some pictures from a vacation years ago and he scrolled too far back and he accidentally showed them my nudes. I was 5 feet away and died. Me and my friends played this game in high school where we'd send each other the most vile, disgusting images we could find. We would all be playing Xbox, get bored, and someone would send some nasty shit to indicate the game has begun. We'd stop once everyone agreed that the last thing sent couldn't be topped. It almost always devolved into porn of various pop culture icons, usually in video games or cartoons. One time, my uncle called me in the middle of this game. We chat, and he asks to speak to my mom. I give my mom the phone, completely forgetting about what's happening. I go back to my Xbox, hear my troglodyte friends giggling about what they're sending, and start looking for my phone. Oh. Fuck. I run downstairs after I remember that Pandora's box of animated atrocities is opening up in my mother's ear right now. As I turn the corner, we lock eyes. Shock and disgust. She turns the phone to me, and on the screen, clear as day, is an image of Wario in a BDSM leather suit farting on a nude Princess Peach. I took the phone and never said a word. Never heard a word about it either. I went back upstairs, and kept playing the game. I was helping a man with some kind of intellectual impairment download a Bible app onto his phone. I had to go into his browser to search for something for him, and it was all porn. About 50 tabs open, each showing what term he'd put into Google, and the search terms were the kind that a 10-year-old would use. I finished getting him the app and attempted to peace out, although not before having to tactfully decline to give him my phone number. When I sold cell phones, there was a guy that always came into the store. He had a picture of a girl spread eagle as his lock screen wallpaper. He always tried to get one of the female salespeople to help him. After the first time he came in, they would all run to the back when we saw him walking up. I and the other guys would have to listen to him about the hot little piece of ass he had the day prior. That would be when my sister saw my vag. We recently reconnected. We had been estranged because of my absolutely insane mother. We were laughing, talking, just generally catching up on 20 years of life, and of course, we were showing one another pictures of our families/houses/friends. I thought, oh, I'll pull up Google Photos because then she can just open albums and see each person or whatever all at a time, and I forgot that one of the albums is called Naughty and Google Photos chose a very naughty pic for the album cover despite my begging it to choose another. I had the app open to an album of kid pics when I handed it over. She closed the album, swiped to see what other albums she wanted to look at, and I heard oh. She told her fiancé we got to know one another really well in that first meeting. During college my girlfriend worked night shifts, so I would sometimes crash at her place, that way I'd be there when she got off in the mornings. One night her roommates had a few people over to drink and I, being alone, decided to crank one out. I spent about 3 to 5 minutes watching some material wondering why the audio wouldn't work on my phone. Then I hear an eruption of laughter from the kitchen. It was a small apartment. Turns out I was the last one that connected to the Bluetooth speaker they were using and was blasting my porn audio to an apartment full of people. I have never been so embarrassed in my life, and I laid there for what felt like an eternity afterward listening to them all die laughing. Older man caught me looking at boobs on my phone during a bus ride home. I quickly scrolled up, realizing that I was in public. He leaned over and said, "Hey, we can share." Got off 3 stops before my own. Sexy pics of me in lingerie meant for my boyfriend. My mom saw them scrolling through pics from a trip I took. I shared a link to my photographer friend's website on Facebook after she and I did a project together. I body painted some models, she took the photos. What I forgot was that there was also a page of nude photos of me from a photoshoot I had modeled for. I'm not exactly shy about nudity, but I also didn't mean to show off those pics to everybody I knew. I also once sexted nudes and dirty requests to my dad instead of my BF in a drunken mistake. I didn't show this, but it was shown to me. I worked at a fast food chain as their IT guy but started in one of the stores in the chain and was known by all of the elderly regulars there. One of them asks me for help with something on his phone, accessing his email or something to that effect, and I instructed him to open his web browser on his phone and search for something. The very first autofill response that came up was I accidentally impregnated my stepdaughter. My best friend convinced my girlfriend to prank me by putting up this really oddly sensual photo of a female Dino character doing push-ups as the photo that pulls up on my computer when you restart it. After I was initially shocked, I actually didn't care and didn't bother to change it back. But, do you know who did care? My sister. I was at a pool party and someone asked if they could use my iPod for the music. I obliged. He found a playlist with some songs he liked and put it in. I didn't realize it when the music started, but about halfway through making that particular playlist I experienced some heartache, so suddenly the pool party heard Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton. I ran out of the pool and was like, oh, how'd that happen? Weird, and put in some metal. Smooth. If it happened today I'd just own it and laugh, but 17 to 18-year-old me was embarrassed. I had sent nudes to a guy I was dating. This was before I realized Google Photos saved everything. I proceed to delete everything from my phone and think I'm in the clear. Well, my ex logged into my Google Photos and saw I was sending nudes and freaked the fuck out. I thought he had downloaded some hacker shit onto my phone. I figured it out, eventually. IT guy here. Way back in the day I was using Netscape, which had this feature of popping up the last site you were on. I believe this was the default. Anyways, I had legitimately been doing some research on hacking since I was the administrator for a small web hosting company, so of course, the sites I hit were chock full of pop-up ads with porn. So come Monday, my boss and another woman, I think she was basically the EA, wanted to look at something on my computer, so I go sure, NP. Fire up Netscape and bam, up pops like 8 chicks in a line all giving blowjobs. I was pissed. Luckily they believed my story, I think, but still, embarrassing. Other than that, nothing. I'm not stupid enough to use a work phone or computer to look at art. Also, LPT, if you're attached to your work VPN, don't be browsing the naughty bits. My fiancée was sending me some sexy nudes on Snapchat one day. She had a bit too much to drink at this time. I got all of them. But so did one of her sisters, and a few she accidentally posted to her story. Luckily one of her female friends saw it and told her so she could delete them before anyone else saw them. Her sister snapped her back a thumbs up that said didn't want to see that, but hey, nice vag. Lol. She was incredibly embarrassed naturally, and it took a while before I got saucy pics again. I was on the receiving end of seeing something I shouldn't have. Early on when I was working at Geek Squad, a girl and her boyfriend came in with a MacBook saying she was having trouble emptying the recycle bin. I forgot that Macs don't have a right-click button on the trackpad. Click the right side of the trackpad thinking it would bring up the menu to empty the bin. You have to click with 2 fingers to get the right-click options to show, just like a Windows computer. Except it didn't, and the trash bin opened. Inside there were dozens of pics of this girl, tits, spread eagle, asshole. Everything. I saw everything. The girl was on the other side of the computer and didn't see anything I was doing, but at this point, I was freaking the fuck out, and of course, the computer froze for what felt like 10 minutes, while the trash bin folder was still open, showing all her nudes. During this time, the girl's extremely muscular, juiced out boyfriend walked up asking her how things were going. Once he asked, she started grabbing the computer to turn it towards her. Thankfully by the time she grabbed the laptop, I was able to close out and empty the trash bin. She asked how much it would be. I told her no charge and went on my way. I went into the back and my boss said I looked like I had just seen a ghost. I told him what happened and he was just laughing at me for the rest of the day. Bet you learned how Macs work real quick, huh? Yep, I did. This one's a double whammy. Last year I was rear-ended very bad. I was in the process of moving, so I had lazily left some stuff in the trunk and back seat. In the back seat, there was like trash bags of clothes, boxes of DVDs/games/PC hardware, etc. There was also the big paper Victoria's Secret bag that I kept all my sex toys in. Because the dude that hit me was doing nearly 80 and I was at a complete stop, everything that wasn't in a trash bag exploded and went everywhere. So when the police arrived to search my car, I guess to make sure I wasn't drinking since I'd been at a dead stop on the freeway, long story LMAO, they were greeted with a vast array of random things, including my stash of sex devices. They had a good laugh and assured me it wasn't the weirdest thing they'd seen. Honestly, I needed the laugh too, but it was still hella embarrassing. Once that was over, my car was towed to a wrecker yard to be held until I collected my stuff from it. My mom insisted on helping me and I didn't want to hurt her feelings by saying no, so I let her come and quickly bagged all the sex stuff before she even got out of the car. Crisis averted. Although everyone at that wrecker yard 100% saw it. A couple of weeks later, my mom was helping me unpack my stuff from the move and she grabbed a bag of stuff that had been in my car. I didn't think anything of it, I was busy. All of a sudden she says she found a dog collar and starts explaining that it must be one of her dogs because she's missing one, but stops her sentence short and I immediately knew what happened. I look over and she's holding the chain part of a ball gag with nipple clamps attached to it. Thank God she put the bag down and moved on. And that's the story of how 4 police officers, a bunch of salvage yard workers and my good Christian mother found out I am a sexual deviant. In 2011 I accidentally showed my boss a photo of my boyfriend, now husband, and I doing something quite NSFW and adult in nature. It was on a flip phone and we were outside in the sun at an amusement park, work event. Originally I was showing him pictures of my safe for work art. I take pride in my sketches and people say I'm good. Anyway, the graphic photo was dimly lit and of poor quality. I'm not 100% sure if he recognized what he saw, but I quickly snatched my phone and walked away clearly embarrassed. We didn't say much to each other after that. Lol. Bright side, my boss later hired my art skills and let me sit in the lobby, this was fast food, and aid groups of customers from schools by painting faces and make balloon animals. That was awesome. Oh god. My internet was down. Had to have the Bell alien guy come to fix it. When it was fixed he asked me to just check it was working properly, so I refreshed a tab and it instantly opened the porn I was watching before the internet died. As a 21-year-old woman, that was the most horrifically embarrassing moment of my life. He then said, "Is there anything else you need?" And I became worried I was living in the plot to the world's most cliché porn. In college I had a crush on a guy whose name was 4 letters. I set it as my phone passcode. When I was home for break, my brother took my phone and started teasing me about liking this guy, then he tried to unlock my phone using his name as the passcode. It worked. Oh, man. A few years ago I used to work with an older, very Christian lady. I am younger, gay, and decidedly not religious. Despite this, we got along pretty well and sat next to each other. We usually just talked about neutral things like how she was remodeling her house or the weather. Anyway, one time I went on vacation and she wanted to see pictures, so I handed her my phone. Totally forgot I had some guy's nudes on there. Luckily they weren't mine, but she literally screamed, dropped my phone, and ran into the bathroom. It's a miracle she never said anything to HR. I was so worried I was going to get in trouble. Thank you for watching Reddit Space. Please subscribe if you love these Reddit stories.